Hi guys, thanks for clicking on the video today. Today we're featuring some retro equipment inspired by a video done by Databits a couple of months ago. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. To start with, we have featured in the picture right now the Sony Mavica FD83 floppy disk camera. The Sony Mavica started life as a digital still camera system that recorded on small tape cartridges. These video still cameras were SLRs and sold to pros. I had a version of the camera I purchased on eBay that used the same system from Canon. That was a consumer version. Later, Sony adopted the Mavica floppy disk camera system. The Mavica FD83 seen here was announced in March of 1999 and when released sold for $799.99. I got mine from a shopgoodwill.com auction for $699 plus shipping. What I'd like to go over today are the camera's capabilities and how the camera stores the photos to disk. My camera has a 4x floppy disk system, which is to say it's slightly less painful to load and format disks in the camera than it is on the PC. Next we'll go around the camera and show the main features. So here's the camera itself. It's kind of hard to get the whole thing in the picture because the lens barrel on my Canon is so short, but it's got a f5.2 to 15.8 millimeter 2.0 lens, so it's pretty good doing low light photos. I'll show you that when I show the photos from one of my discs. It's capable of recording still images. It's also capable of recording video. It has a microphone on the top. This is the shutter button. It's a two-stage shutter button, so when you press it down halfway it focuses, and then when you press it all the way it takes the shot. Some stuff here on the brag sheet to know. It has AV out, which I'll show you in a moment. It does have a 4x floppy drive, which again is a little faster for formatting and recording videos. We have the Stamina battery, which is the FD or the MPF 550 Infolithium L series, I believe. I'll be taking it out just to show you. On this side, we have the ability of putting the camera into manual or autofocus. So, and you use manual focus by twisting the focus ring here. Autofocus works pretty good. There was a cover on here that broke off. I do not know what that is for. It looks like some kind of output, but it's not the video out. I'll check and make sure what that is and maybe put it in the description later. On the bottom you have the battery, and you just push down and release, and then right there you let it go. And this battery is a little hard to get out because it's an aftermarket battery. The batteries that the camera came with were dead, so I got this no-name battery from K-Star. This is the F550, F570. It's 2900 milliamp hours at 7.4 volts. So it does hold a rather massive charge. Get it back in there. On this side is the floppy drive itself, and it shows you what direction to put it in. And then on the back we have the camera controls. There's no viewfinder. It is a 1 megapixel camera, and it's interpolated, so I don't know what the actual sensor is. It has a 6 times digital zoom, so it's not optical. Here's the power switch, the D-pad for the menu, the power indicator, the disk access light, the eject mechanism, which you hold down and then slide over. It has the ability of recording a 15-second MPEG, or you can record video stills, or you can play back directly in the camera. It has a video backlight, or an LCD backlight, which is this right here. This is also a window that allows you, when you're outdoors, to let the light in and shine on the LCD so that you can still see it. There's an LCD brightness button and a volume control for the beeping, and I think for the video because you can play back. Then you have certain picture effects like sepia and black and white, things like, and solarized, things like that. This is a program AE button. It does things like set your exposure automatically and things like that. There is a display mode for turning the display on and off, and there's a flash. You can turn the flash on and off. It's a xenon flash. It's kind of powerful. It does blow most pictures away, so I tend not to use it. So what I'm going to do now, since I've taken the battery out, there's no backup battery in here that I can find. So what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm going to set the clock, and then I'm going to hook it up to the TV with my AV cable, and we can show you the menus. Be back in a minute. Okay, so I have the camera hooked up with an AV cable, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on, and you're going to see it on my Samsung TVCR. This I picked out of the trash a couple of days ago, and it works pretty good for what we're going to do with it. So let's turn it on, and hopefully there's no blanking of any kind. There we go. And let's zoom in a little bit. There's my hand right there, so you can see that it's actually taking a photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the menu system, and the menu system is pretty straightforward and sophisticated. What we have is we have a file system, and we can put it in normal record. Email mode takes pictures that are suitable for email. Back then it was pretty hard to email photos. There's also a voice record mode where you can just record your voice and send those files along. But you know, we're going to put it in normal record. That'll make sure that it takes photos. Quality, you can do fine or standard. Right now I'm using fine quality because it honestly doesn't make the small image files, the 640 by 480 files, it doesn't make them any much larger than they would be if you didn't use that. Standard mode, again, just changes the resolution a little bit. So the maximum image size that this camera can take is 1216 by 912, but you can set it to be 1024 by 768 or 640 by 480. That's important for what we're going to do later. File number is normal, or you can do in a series. From what I understand, if you have a bunch of discs and you're taking a lot of photos, when you change discs, if you have it in series mode, it'll just keep numbering the files one after the other. If you do it in normal mode, every disc you put in there will have the same photo numbers. So it might be better to put it in series mode if you're going to take a lot of photos. The disc tool, you can copy a disc, we're going to try that, and you can format discs. In my experience, it is easier if you format the discs in the camera. Not that it affects the operation of a blank disc that you formatted in your PC. If you have files on your disk already and you didn't format it in the camera, the files won't play, they get corrupted. I don't understand why. That's the file menu. And then we'll go to the camera menu, and you can set the level of exposure to whatever you'd like. Right now I have it at the default, which is 0. The flash level is normal. I'm probably going to start setting it to low because every time I take a photo with a flash, it blows it out. There's really no modulation on the flash, so I'm going to set that. White balance is auto. That's pretty self-explanatory. Hold mode allows you to leave it where it is. You could put it in outdoor or you can put it in indoor mode. I just leave it on auto. That's pretty easy. Digital zoom is on. You can turn it on or you can turn it off. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And then down to the setup menu. Let's go up. You can turn the beep on and off. You can set the clock. I didn't have to set the clock. It does have a bit of internal backup, but if you leave the camera out for longer than a few minutes, you'll have to set the clock again. The language is English. You can set it to Japanese if you'd like. Video out is NTSC or PAL. I of course have it on NTSC. So that's the setup menu. And then over here, you can turn the macro on and off. if you're in macro mode. And there's also a self timer, so you can have it record a photo after a certain amount of time. Right now there's no disk on the drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a floppy in, and then I'll show you how to format a disk. So hang on for 1 minute, I'll be right back. I have this disk right here. I'm actually using the Mavica to take this image. I have this disk right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to format it. So hang on. We'll put it in the camera, and it's accessing the disk already, and it's telling me the disk is full because it's got files on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Setup, or actually no, I'm not going to go to Setup, I'm going to File, go to the disk tool, I'm going to go to Format, and say OK, and it formats it pretty quickly. Now the disk is ready, and it's at 1216 fine mode. So yeah, let's go ahead and we will take a picture. I wonder if we can do this. And that's with the flash on. And let's see if I can turn the flash off. Everything in this house is Sony except for that camera. Sony tripod. So if you want, you can go into the play mode, and all you have to do is to go to the next one is go up, and there's my, it's not that bad, that particular one, because I set it back to low. This is the index of files on the disk. And if we hang out, we can go ahead and say delete, we can say file, we can protect these images. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to protect that one there. And there you go. And also we can do a copy. We're going to change floppies really quick. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly format another disk. And so what we're going to do is we're going to change disks. You probably can't see that, so let's just go ahead and do that. Just pop this disk out. Pop this disk in, and it goes ahead and starts recording immediately. And then we just hit continue, and then we can pop our copy disk out. Don't know why I'm having such a problem with that. And then pop a new one in there. And let me just say exit. Now it's copied to this disk, it's copied the same files. And we're going to have to get out of here. We're just going back into record mode. And it tells me how many photos we've got on the drive, and then we can just go ahead and pop this one out. Here's the one that we recorded to. And we just go back and we can play it. And then these ones are also protected. But as you can see, this system is pretty self-contained. What we're going to do next is we're going to look at how it records to disk and what's on a disk when you put it in your computer. So we'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the floppy, the pictures that we just took, and this is Windows 10. Don't be hating. So what does the Mavica do when it takes the files? This camera was created in the days before DCIM folders. DCIM means digital camera images. Modern digital cameras use a DCIM folder, and all modern photo editing software that can import from an SD card or a camera hooked up to USB can import those files from the DCIM or take them off and copy them to your desktop. So this is before that. So the Mavica does this. It creates the images and writes them to disk as JPEG files. It also has indexes of each photo for the camera so that it can do its internal slideshow. And then it also creates an HTML file. And that can be opened up in any browser. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's really bare bones. It's really just a header and however many files there were and when they were created. And we can just click on them and open them. And there they are. There's no other controls. They don't put GIFs with navigation buttons or any of that stuff. Just puts the photo up there. So you have to hit the back button, click it again. And it depends on the speed of your computer. Mine's pretty fast, but you know, it's also coming straight off the floppy disk. So these are high quality images. Let's close the browser really fast. And they're about 235K. 235K. Think about that for a moment. A lot of your raw images that are in HD are usually over a few megabytes in size. So this gives you a good idea of what we're dealing with back in the day. A Mavica like this can store, because I've been fooling around with it for about a month, Mavica like this can store about 5 high quality images and about 20 to 50 low quality images. It depends. But this is how it does it. Let's look at another set of files. I will pause the video here and I'll put in a floppy and I'll be right back. Okay, now we've got files that I took shortly after I got my battery for my camera, because my battery came from Shop Goodwill dead. I'll leave a link to the Castar battery that I purchased from Amazon. The good news is that they're pretty good. They actually tell the battery manager on the Sony camera that the actual time left on the battery and everything like that, like an infolithium should. And the other good news is that if your camera doesn't come with a charger, then Castar can also sell you a charger. They usually just throw it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these photos in the, what is it called? The photo gallery. And the reason why is that the photo gallery has controls. So these were shots that I took in low quality. They're 640 by 480 resolution. And the pictures are pretty good, I would say. They're well saturated, they're well modulated, and they just look really well. And this is where I live, or around where I live, right out in front of my house. I live in front of a bowling alley, a laundromat, and this office building that looks like a one-room schoolhouse. Don't ask me why. This is from the steps up there. This is my house. That's my crappy Pontiac Bonneville. That's the one-room schoolhouse office building. That's looking down to the other end of my driveway. That's my tree, mailbox. This was taken at work around dusk. The camera does a good job with this too. It was getting kind of misty at that point. Sun is more going down. You can see that it's, again, it handles low light pretty well. An f2.0 aperture, so it's not too shabby. That's the front of my works building, and again, not too bad. That's later on, just as I was getting ready to leave. I was in training at my work, and we had to be there from 2 to 10:30. So this is about a little after 10:30 at night. That's my radio and my Pontiac, and it was before I was really comfortable using the autofocus and making the settings. It probably would have taken a better shot if I had paid attention. I think this camera, for the time, is pretty good. And you've got to remember that compact flash cards, any kind of removable solid state memory, was expensive back in the day. Back before floppies became extinct, you could get a box of 10 floppies for $5. It wasn't a problem. I could go to Fry's and get 50 floppies for $20. So it wasn't like you weren't going to be able to get media to take pictures. You could do it no problem for a lot less than buying compact flash cards. So yes, I think this was a good stopgap solution until we moved forward. Sony eventually created the CD Mavica that used mini CDs, which has up to 5 megapixels, and they take great photos. And then Sony started doing cameras that took memory stick, and memory stick wasn't cheap, but eventually they got wind, and now on their new cameras, their new SLRs, their new point and shoot cameras that take a removable flash memory, they go ahead and they use regular SD or micro SD card media. So that's really all I wanted to talk about on the Mavica. That's going to lead us into the next item on the list here, and that's going to be the main focus of this video. So I will be back in a moment, back on camera. So like I said, this is the real focus of our video today. This is the Microsoft TV photo viewer, and I was inspired by databits to pick one up. Databits did a video on this and the Mavica a couple of months ago, and he kind of had to stop because he doesn't have a computer that can use floppies. So I already had a floppy disk, and not only do I have a floppy disk, I have a full-on Windows 98 computer at this point, but it needs more work before it can be totally useful. So I'm going to do a video on that later on, but for right now we're going to open this up. Databits already did an unboxing. I'm going to put a link to his video in the show notes so you can check that out. I don't need to unbox it for you. I've already taken the software out and installed it on my computer, but I will hook it up to my TV and we'll film that and you can see what's going on, okay? So hang tight, we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are at the TV, and I have the photo viewer hooked up here, and I have it hooked up to the TV set, as you can see. So the first thing we're going to do is, we've got the quick tour disc upside down, of course, because I'm a derp, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in there, and I'm just going to show you how it works. So this is the first disc, gang, and what you're going to do is go auto, or let's say forward. Okay, doesn't work. So let's load some photos. And I have it loading on automatic. So it's basically like a PowerPoint deck. Databits showed this on his channel, and this is just automatically going. And we can like hold it to search or turn the automatic off. You can even do panos, which is kind of cool. Let me zoom in a little bit. And it looks like it's blanking a little bit, I think. But overall, the picture quality is pretty good. Now, Databits was kind of concerned that the photo viewer software did some kind of shenanigans, or it was a completely proprietary format or something like that, and that's why this machine wasn't popular. Well, the machine as shipped came out at $199.99, so it's not cheap. So what I suspect is that they just didn't sell a lot of these units. Floppy disks were going out, compact flash memory was coming down in price, digital cameras were getting a little more inexpensive. So I don't think they did any shenanigans, and why would they do that? So let's turn it off, and we're going to unload our floppy. And this disk right here, with no label on it, is my low-res image file, or low-res image floppy from the Mavica. So I'm going to turn on the photo viewer, and I'm going to put my disk in, obviously, and I'm going to hit auto. We're going to see if it can read these photos. Well, look at that. Directly from the Mavica. I didn't put them into software or anything. I'm sorry about the bars on the screen. That's from blanking. But at 640 by 480 on a standard definition television set, these pictures look pretty good. And I think it's buffering it in. And it's doing just fine. So there's no shenanigans going on here. It's nothing proprietary. It's reading JPEG images off of a standard formatted floppy disk. So is there anything that Microsoft is doing different with it? Well, we'll go back to the computer and find out. So here we are in VMware Fusion running Windows Millennium Edition. Don't hate on me, please.
Windows Millennium? Oh no! Get it away! Eek!
Anyway, so what we'll do is go ahead and open up the floppy drive. Now this is the photo disk tour, the disk that comes with the TV photo viewer. And there's a click here to view pictures, which is an HTML file. So let's take a look at that. There's some GIF files on there that might be telling. This is all in Internet Explorer. There's nothing going on here. I didn't do anything to it. It actually takes the floppy drive longer to read in the photos than the TV photo viewer did. Alright, I got it to work by hitting one of the buttons here. Although there's the first image right there. So these are directly from the floppy disk. There's no playing around. Microsoft makes this HTML file a little more rich than Sony's. They have buttons, and you can actually like view a slideshow of the photos. And it just advances the pictures automatically one at a time. Now notice, please, that nothing on this, there's no image map file. So you can pretty much go through here as fast as you want, but these are the buttons that help your slideshow along. And again, it's not anything special. Now these are kind of oversaturated and well done for 640 by 480 images. But what I want to do is I want to show you a particular file. In here there is a README, and this README file, April 2001, modifying the images on this floppy disk may cause the images to become unreadable by the Microsoft TV Photo Viewer device. The Microsoft TV Photo Viewer device works with floppy disks that have digital pictures in 640 by 480 JPG format. Each image must be smaller than 120K. If you have JPG images at 640 by 480 resolution, it's possible for you to copy them onto a floppy disk yourself. However, we recommend that you use the TV Photo Viewer software to put your photos onto floppy disks so that you don't have to worry about file types and compression settings. So that's cool. Take a bunch of high quality JPEGs. The TV Photo Viewer puts them into an album, compresses them to 640 by 480 format, and then copies them to your blank floppy disk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the floppy that has my high quality images on it, if I can find it. I'll be right back, gang. Hold on. Okay, gang, I've got a floppy with 5 high quality images on here. And let's just take a look. You can see what they are. So what Microsoft recommends is to back these up so that you don't ruin the original resolution. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder. And we're going to call it TVPV high res. I'm just going to go ahead and copy them here. This way I can I won't endanger my photos, and I won't take them off my floppy either. I want to erase my floppy disk. Alright, so let's remove the floppy. I'm going to use the blank floppy that Microsoft provided, at least as old as the Sony's that I have. I'm going to fire up TV Photo Viewer. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to add pictures. So let's do that. And I have this guy right here. And let's go ahead and select all and add to album. And they appear in the album, and I'm all done. And now what I'm going to do, I can preview it, I can add a caption if I'd like. Okay, we've done that. Now we're going to create a floppy disk. So let's go ahead and do that. And the title is Test Slideshow. And let's go ahead and create the floppy. And it doesn't take too long. What it's doing is it's taking these images, which are upwards of 200K a piece, and cropping them down to 640 by 480. All right. So now we can save a copy of the album to my computer. This is required if you want to etch your album in the future. So yes, I can do that. And we're just going to save it on the desktop right now so we can see what it looks like. And it's called testslideshow.pva. PVA is TV photo viewer album file, and that's the only format it can save in. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's all done. So the disk is prepared. Now we're going to take it back over to the TV photo viewer and see what it looks like. Be back in a minute. Just hit forward on the remote. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Alright, and there's our front page. And we're going to put it on automatic so that the slideshow will go by itself. And there's our captions right there. Sorry it's blanking again. And I think this is pretty effective. I really do. It's very basic, but it works. It does its thing. And these were high quality images, and they are now rendered 640 by 480, and they have captions. So that's not too shabby, and it's very simple to do. So we're going to turn automatic off and shutter down. And take our disk out. So the Microsoft TV Photo Viewer, probably not a successful item because of the price. I think it works really well for what it is, and you probably couldn't have gone wrong back in the day. Us older folks wanted to show slides. That's what we did. So all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. Remember, again, if you need to comment, you can do that below. Please give me a like. And as always, you have a pleasant day, everybody. And thanks for watching. So I have a little slideshow about the Microsoft TV Photo Viewer. And we're just going to really look at it in the context of a PowerPoint slide. So here we go. The Microsoft TV Photo Viewer was the perfect way to present your photos.
In the year 2000.
Microsoft TV Photo Viewer uses industry standard floppy disks. It can be used for presentations. It plays directly to a TV or projector, and it has easy IR remote controls. The Photo Viewer software requirements are a multimedia PC with a 166 MHz or higher Pentium class processor, Microsoft Windows 98, Windows Millennium Edition, Windows XP or Microsoft Windows 2000 operating system, 32 megs of RAM for Microsoft Windows 98 or Windows ME, 64 megs for Microsoft Windows 2000 or Windows XP, 33 megs of available hard disk space, 170 megs required if Microsoft Picture Express photo editing software is also installed. Of course, you need a 1.4 megabyte 3.5-inch floppy disk drive, or none of this is going to work. You need a 4x speed CD-ROM drive or faster just to install the Picture Express software. You need Super VGA, 16-bit color monitor or higher. They recommend 24-bit. A Microsoft mouse or compatible pointing device, naturally. Microsoft Internet Explorer 4 or later browser software to view the help files. And the Photo Viewer hardware requirements are an NTSC television with composite RCA style video input. Televisions without a composite video input that have a coaxial input require a powered RF modulator, or you could use your VCR, kids. Standard 1.44 megabyte high density 3.5-inch disc, and one blank disk is included, so you can make a photo show if you don't have any floppy disks. 2 AA alkaline batteries are included, but if you think I'm going to put old batteries into a pristine remote, you are crazy. And a digital camera scanner or other source of digital photos. This can not only do photos from your digital camera, but you can also scan in, you can export your PowerPoint slides, whatever you want to do is fine. And it's compatible with most digital camera scanners and other sources of digital photos, most NTSC TVs with a composite video input or powered RF modulator or VCR. It supports JPG, JPEG, which is, they're just JPEGs, they're just different extensions, the same thing. Bitmap, GIF, and TIFF, and the mix format, which is a proprietary Microsoft format, Microsoft Image Exchange, which is supported in Picture It Express if you install it from your CD-ROM. So it's the Microsoft TV Photo Viewer, kids. It's the easiest way to view digital photos on your TV.